Here we are again at my reloading bench, and today we're going to go over the Frankford Arsenal Universal Seating Die. Before we get too far into talking about this in today's video, I've got to thank everybody. In the past couple weeks, we've more than doubled the amount of subscribers on the channel, so I got to thank all of you. Keep on hitting that thumbs up button and commenting down below. That helps push, all these videos out into that algorithm and help grow the channel. Let's take a look at what comes with it. You got a plastic case for all of your parts. The die body itself, you got all your alignment bushings from 223 up to 338. Inside here, the 308 is in there. You get 3 seating stems that come with it. Small, medium, and large kind of correspond with your bullet sizes. It is VLD compatible. Let's go ahead and take a look at the die itself here. Biggest thing I noticed right out of the box is the lock ring that it comes with right here. It's got that brass machine screw to set that lock ring on there. I'm not a real big fan of those. It is pressing on threads which are pointed, and in the past I've had these things crack in half. I mean, you are pushing this thing down onto what would be a wedge, and they end up cracking because I'm assuming that this probably isn't going to be a set it and forget it type of things. Being multi-caliber, depending if it's a long or a short cartridge, you may have to put it clear up at the top, you may have to put it in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and take that thing off right away. I'm going to replace it with this style of lock ring right here that squeezes down around it. The other thing about these is you can kind of see there's a lot of play in there, and I've always thought that if you're just pushing down against that, there's a lot of room for wiggle in there. Haven't been real fond of that on the accuracy standpoint. On these, this draws this down around it, puts pressure a little more evenly around the thread, should square that up just a little bit more by running that style of a lock ring on here. So we'll just leave that on there. Let's take a look at the micrometer head itself here. Starting down here at the bottom, you do have a vertical numbered adjustment on there. On the micrometer itself, you've got 50 thousandths worth of travel per revolution. Seems to line up pretty well with the markers on the die body. The biggest thing I'll say about it is our numbers are increasing up as we go that direction, but our numbers, if we turn it that direction, which would be lengthening it out, we're actually going downward in here. Kind of makes that tough when we're trying to remember or write down in our notes what setting we have this at when we're seating a specific bullet. If we go from a Match King to a VMAX or a Full Metal Jacket or whatever, I assume they put those markings on there so that you just have to remember that you were 3.5 turns up, and then which number you were on top of it, or to make sense of it, basically, as we're trying to seat it deeper, if we need to go 5 thousandths deeper, then you turn it clockwise and it goes deeper that way. You just can't write this out like a micrometer though and say that it's 0.310, because that's actually taller or longer in the cartridge than if you had 0.33, which is actually making it shorter. So that can be a little bit confusing when trying to write down what this number is for reference to make your loads repeatable. I'm assuming the reason that they made these numbers go clockwise on here is if we just use this, seated a bullet into a case, and we need to go 5 or 10 thousandths deeper, that it's easier to try to make that out, to just turn it clockwise, seat it deeper that 10 thousandths. It's just going to make it awfully hard to remember that going down that 10 thousandths is actually bringing you closer to 3. As we increase a number on the dial, we actually decrease the number on the vertical stadia on the die body. So could be a little bit confusing trying to write that down so that we can remember which die setting we have on here to which bullet. So the first cases that we're going to do here, we're going to seat Sierra Match King in a 300 blackout. Now the 300 blackout is the whole reason why I even thought about buying this Frankford die here. My gun is not accurate enough for me to warrant getting a dedicated micrometer die, spending that much money just to make 300 blackout subs that really aren't that accurate anyway. So why not buy the universal die and use it on all these calibers where I just don't feel like spending the money for well, my gun or caliber that doesn't warrant that type of accuracy. I just want the ease of having the micrometer adjustment because I'm going to be putting quite a few different types of projectiles in there. So let's throw the Match King in there. Let's see where we're at here. We'll go ahead and measure this right there, if we can see that. That is 2.3, about 1.2. So we need to drop, let me see here. Let's go. Whoops, we're going the wrong way. We got to go 40 thousandths. What was that? Yeah, right about 50 thousandths. See where that takes us here. Because I need to be about, yeah, almost there. There we go. 2.260. So it does seem to measure right with where it should be on that micrometer. Let's go ahead, seat a couple more. See what we get for consistency and length here. Almost forgot we got the window to throw it in. That makes those super easy. There we go. There's 3 of those. Let's check where that lands on the dial here. Okay. Oh, and number 3. Oh, getting focus. There we go. All within 1,000th there. So that part looks good. Now let me show you how to change this over and we'll do another caliber. Now let's go ahead and change out caliber on this. I'll show you how to do it. It's super simple. We're going to change this over to 6mm and we'll do a couple of 6 Creedmoor cases, and we'll do a couple, what do I got over there? Some 6 arc cases. So basically you just got to thread that all the way off the top of there. Once that's off, just take this, flip it upside down right here. There we have our alignment sleeve. That's for the 308. We'll take that out. We have our seating stem. And there's this little spacer right here that basically holds the spring that keeps that pushed in there. So just slide those off. I'll go ahead and grab the small cedar stem here, or should I say it's technically the longest seating stem. This one right here. Grab the wrong one. Right. Now we got the longest seating stem. That's for the smallest of calibers. Just set that. You can see where that's recessed on the one side for the spring. Let's take that. Grab the 6mm. Drop it in there. Drop that down there, and now you just have to screw that all the way back down. There, you can feel it engaging that spring. And there you have it. Caliber changed. So we're going to have to back this out a ways, since we'll do the 6 Creed first. We'll just stop right there, see where it's at. Oops, got to change out the shell holder as well. That in. That didn't work out. Way too far. For this 6 Creed being so much taller, we should probably back this die out a little bit. Give her a couple of turns. Something kind of like that. Have to find that happy medium of where we need to have this lock ring at per caliber. Have to write all that down in your notes. Alright. Yeah, that's not quite deep enough. We'll give her another 2 spins. Alright, let's take a measurement. Let's just get an approximate here. Yeah, we got to go. Yeah, we'll go about 5 thousandths there. Yeah, it's a little bit under. Now, let's go ahead, throw it in there, and what I'm noticing is that that bullet doesn't want to fall all the way down in there. Straighten itself up. It's casting in there just a little bit. Take a measurement there. Hopefully you can read that. It's about, yeah, we're on about 32. Let's seed a couple more. Where's that one come out? About 32 again. So that's good. Let's do one more. Tip that back again. There we go. And spin her around. 32 right on the head again, 3 times in a row. Now, let's go ahead and seat that deeper. Let's do, there's 10, 15, let's do 20. So that should realistically drop that all the way down to about 12 thousandths on the caliper. Let's see if it makes it there. Yep. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully, right there at 12. So, the dial does run pretty true. Now, let's load up some 6 arc. Try a couple different bullets. Toss some 75 grainers in there first. See what they look like. Alright. Now, about that far. I'll throw some 108s in there. See what they look like. What am I doing? Almost setting it down on there. Those 108s. Oh, right there. Take the camera off here and I'll show you. I've noticed right there, if we can get that to focus there, a little too close. That bullet is missing the cedar stem in there. Hopefully you can see this. When I drop those projectiles in there, they don't fall in there straight in alignment. So let's measure these 75 grainers that we put in the 6 arc. Right there on the 75. First one. Just barely under the 75. Same thing right there, just at 75. So all three of those are within a 1,000th. Let's take some length measurements on these 108s here. Right there. There's one. This one here kind of smashed the tip when it caught the edge of it there on the seating stem. But 96 on the dial on that one too. Let's grab the last one. That one is about 97. So close. Now, let's throw a little 6.5 Creedmoor together with some 140s. Ooh, first one right off the bat. Hopefully, you can see that in there. That kind of completely missed that seating stem. Oh, that's really stuck. When those sit down in there, you can see it. That's tipped back that way. You push it down just a little bit. Oh, come on. If you push it down just a little bit, then it starts. Wonder how straight that one will be. Now let's mount this back up here. Alright, let's try a couple more. Nope, that ain't gonna make it. There we go. I don't want to have to reach in there and slightly straighten that out every time. Apparently on these I'm going to have to. Gotta push it down in there a little bit. Now that we got a couple different calibers all done up, let's run them across the concentricity gauge here. See what they got to say. That one there's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 thousandths. About 2.5. And 1, 2, almost 3. Those are the 75 grainers. Let's go to the 108s in the arc. See what those look like. 1, 2, 2.5 to 3. About 1/2 thousandth. That one don't even hardly move. This round is the one that we pinched in there, that the bullet was tipped far enough to the side. I bet this one's not gonna look good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's about 5 thousandths. So yeah, that one didn't turn out well. We hit that thing, it being tipped sideways. Let's see how we did on the 300 blackout. Move this down just a little bit. Well, that's about a half thousandth. That don't hardly move. One and a half, 2. Third one here. Yep, not even 1,000th right there. So it did real well on the 300 blackout. Scoot this back a bit. Do the 6 Creed and the 6.5. See here, that's about 1,000th on that one. About 1,000th on that one. See if all 3 of them are right in there. That's a little closer to 2 there, maybe just a little over, about 2.5 thousandths. So not bad on the 6 Creed. Now let's try the 6.5 here. That's looking at about 2.5 to 3. That's about 4.5. And 4. Now, just for comparison's sake, set those off to the side. And I've got some factory 140 grainers there. Let's throw a couple of these in here and see what they tend to look like. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! Pretty wide on that one. Almost 4 on that one. Two, 3, 4. Yeah, almost 5 on that one. About 4.5 on that one. So I guess it's running about as straight, if not straighter, than some factory ammo. So let me show you a common occurrence that I'm seeing across regardless of which caliber we're using. Got the 224 here, the 243, the 308, and the 338 here. When we're using a shorter projectile, you drop that in, goes fairly centered right in there, works well. But when you start using a little longer projectile like this tipped Match King, see how it cocks to the side there regardless of which way you drop that in. I don't know if we can see that one in there. I'll do it here with the 6 mil. Drop it in close to center. Do the 108, drop it in. Now look how far off center that is. That's where you get the thing binding up. 308 with 175, fairly close. The 338 with a 285, kicked way to the side on that one. Hopefully I'll get this lined up so you can see this. Yep, right there. See a little shiny spot inside that alignment sleeve? That's the detent that catches the bullet to stop it in there. And I think what happens, you can see where that's at. When I drop this in, that's kicking the base of the bullet over, pushing the tip in the direction of that detent every time, regardless of which direction you drop it in from. It always ends up pushing it back towards that detent. So with these alignment bushings, let me give you just a little bit more of an example here. Break out my little mini whiteboard. So here's basically a cutaway of that die. You got your funnel part in the top, your case comes up through the bottom here. Right in here, there's that bar. Basically it's pressed right here into it, and that's the detent for when the bullet falls down in here. With that being on the side over here, it basically hits and pushes that bullet sideways. I have to redo this section where I don't have quite as much glare on the little whiteboard here. Where I think that this could have been done better is where that detent is, since that's constantly kicking that off to the side. I think that they could have either dropped that down in here or added a little more straight section through here instead. That way when that bullet falls down, it's got a little more time for the base of that to fall in there, correct itself, and then get detained by the little pin in there. I think that would help all of them straighten out a little bit better rather than having that detent real close to the top in there. But with the short ones, with any type of shorter projectile, it doesn't seem to affect it. Once it starts pushing down, it centers itself into that alignment sleeve very well, and the runout's really good. It's just the ELDMs, the VLDs, those real long style bullets, that's where the problem occurs with this die set. But I'm not going to be using it for that. I'm probably mainly going to be using this for, you know, making just some blasting ammo for my 300 Blackout, you know, maybe some 75s on the 6 arc, stuff like that I don't want to change my other dies or purchase another die for those calibers. So my final thoughts on the universal seating die. think overall it's going to work pretty good for hunting style stuff. All my, like I said, 300 blackout, it's all my plinking ammo, blasting ammo for that. I think it'll be just fine running the 150s in there. I do really like this style of die where you just throw that projectile into the window in the front, just like the RCBS gold medal series. I wish they would have, you can focus on that, run the numbers the exact same direction so it worked more like a micrometer, or I should say read more like a micrometer. But I can live with that, no big deal. I think that it's going to work out pretty good. I mean, when it comes to concentricity of those rounds when you're making them and consistency, the micrometer on here, the dial, ran very true in that seating up and down. If you put 20 thousandths on it, I mean, I tried 50 thousandths, it came out to 50 thousandths. So that part, it's done well. Alignment, when the projectile seats in there like it should, I mean, we're getting anywhere from, you know, almost no run out to 3 to 5 thousandths run out. Doing pretty good. Most of those are probably on the worst side of it. Definitely has to do with the cased neck. You can't fix thin spots in case necks. You get run out on those ones every time. When you've got good consistent case neck thickness, that's where you definitely see the ones come in where it's less than 2 thousandths, you know, not even 1,000th worth of run out in there. So I think that it will work well for my intended purpose. If I was just going to buy this for seating match grade ammunition, this would probably not be the way that I would run. I would probably go with, well, and I have the Forester and the RCBS. I think I'll stick with those for my match grade ammunition and keep this one just for my, you know, multi-projectile blasting style, just, I don't want to say junk ammo, but practice ammo at closer ranges. So, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, comment down below, let me tell you, or tell me what you think about this die, your thoughts on it, if you've used one or not. So, I just want to thank all of you again, all the old subscribers, all the new subscribers, everybody watching my videos and helping this channel grow. Hopefully, we'll catch you on the next one.